In the past few decades, the skyline of Doha, Qatar's capital city, has changed beyond recognition. The discovery of oil in the 1930s and then natural gas in the early 1970s marked a seismic change in the fortunes of Qatar. And at a turbocharged pace, Qatar's hopes, dreams and buildings have risen high above the desert sands. Since this small but mighty Gulf nation won the right to host the FIFA World Cup back in 2010, it's spent billions on state-of-the-art stadia and infrastructure. And with the first match set to kick off this November, all eyes will be on Qatar as it makes history, becoming the first ever Middle Eastern country to host the World Cup. And I'm here to meet some real players, both on and off the pitch.
I asked someone here how much each of these were worth, and his answer was priceless.
سمعت إن في السوق واقف في محلات حق سيدات يعني حق حريم، فقلت وين أروح مثلاً أنا مع إن إحنا تجار سوق واقف لازم أشاور وين ما كنت أعرف لا سأورت أخوي يقول لي بالله مستحيل.
This is the perspective that players will have as they walk out onto the game for the first match of the tournament here at the Al Bayt Stadium. And this may be historic, but for some, it's also a controversial World Cup.
What we sometimes suffer from as a country, that people actually would make judgments without actually listening to the other side or actually try to search for the truth before they make their own opinion.
It's hard to believe how far and how fast Qatar has developed. But this is a place that has always relished defying expectations. Roughly the same size as Yorkshire in the United Kingdom, Qatar is mainly desert landscape, surrounded by the Gulf on three sides. It hasn't been the easiest of places to prosper. Historically, it was the arduous task of pearl diving that was Qatar's main economy, until, that is, the discovery of oil and gas. Oil workers arriving in the 1940s brought with them a game to play in their spare time. That sport has now brought the focus of the world to Qatar. And that game was the beautiful game: football. As hosts, Qatar qualified automatically for the World Cup and will make their first ever appearance at the tournament. Almoaz Ali is a striker for the Qatar national team, and he hopes to become a household name when the competition kicks off this November. He says Qatar may be seen as underdogs, but thinks this is a side who shouldn't be written off just yet.
كل اللعيبه اللي في منتخب قطر يعني مقدرين شعار منتخب قطر. في وقتنا الحالي تشوف مشاكل وايد في منتخبات كبيره ان ما عندهم لعيبه يقدمون، ما عندهم لعيبه يلعبون بروح، ما عندهم لعيبه يبون يسوون شيء حق الوطن، ما عندهم الغيره والحماس حق الشعار. احنا في اللي يميز غرفه ملابس منتخب قطر ان الكل يلعب للشعار، الكل يلعب بقلب واحد، الكل يحب بعضه، الكل يحب يساعد الثاني. احنا في مرحله كلنا لازم نتطور، كلنا عندنا هدف واحد اللي هو وصول لكأس العالم، تشريف البلاد.
In December 2021, Qatar hosted the FIFA Arab Cup. Using the new World Cup stadia, this competition acted as a warm-up for this year's big tournament. And the Qatar national team actually won the third-place playoff. From a personal level, what was it like to play in the Arab Cup?
أجدادنا وآبائنا ورجعت الأمة العربية ككل أنه يرجعون في حب كرة القدم مع بعض ويتنافسون ويشوفون من الأفضل في هالدول العربية، لأن كل واحد يلعب في قارته، بس كل واحد يحدد مستوى منتخب على حبه لبلاده. في هالبطولة يعني رجعت الحماس للدول العربية، رجعت حب الدول العربية لبعضها.
When Qatar first won the World Cup bid, critics pointed to its lack of footballing tradition. But Almoez Ali believes the dream of playing in a World Cup is a universal dream for every footballer across the world.
أكيد أنا عندي حلم من أنا صغير إن ألعب كأس العالم، وإحنا من إحنا صغار نشوف كأس العالم. شفت كأس العالم 2006، شفت كأس العالم 2010، شفت كأس العالم 2014 2018. كأس العالم له شيء مغاير عند الناس، أو كلاعب الكرة يفتخر بهالشيء، يقول حق عياله أنا لعبت كأس عالم، ما بالك.
But what else does Qatar have to offer? Well, you don't have to drive far out of the city of Doha for the roads to end and the sands to begin. Explorers from across time talk about the Arabian desert as a place of hardship. Some, like the 1930s adventurer Bertram Thomas, even went as far as to call it the abode of death. Qatar had a long and proud history before discovering oil and gas, and it was learning to cope with this hot and harsh environment that helped to shape the country for those who call the desert home. Living here, they carved out their culture, instilled their traditions, and created the nomad lifestyle. People who had come to be known as the Bedouin.
يعني ناس عاديين وعلمتهم الصحراء وتعودوا في الصحراء وعاشوا حياة القاسية. طبعا هذول الجيل اللي قبلنا، ولكن احنا جيلنا يعني الحمد لله صرنا في رفاهية وفي خير، وصلنا الحداثة وتغيرت الدنيا، فصرنا الحين نبني بيوت الشعر وكذا لين احنا نحن للبادية.
Temperatures can reach as high as 50 degrees Celsius in Qatar during the summer months. In the winter, when the weather is cooler, Mohammed Al-Hathani and his family build traditional Bedouin tents in the desert to get back to their roots.
Why is it important for you to do this?
ومكان شاسع يرتاح فيه ويبعد أولاده. بعد أنا بالذات مثلا أجي هنا عشان أبعد أولادي عن التكنولوجيا، بلاي ستيشن وسوني وتلفزيون وكذا.
So Qatar today is very different to how it was when the Bedouins were, like you were talking, were in the desert. How can Bedouin culture connect with modern Qatar?
الحدود هي اللي عملت ان هذا قطري وهذا منا، ولكن القيم والعادات والتقاليد خصوصا مش البادية، العرب بشكل عام والبادية خصوصا أهل مكارم وأهل أخلاق، والبدو عندهم قيم عجيبة في التعامل حتى في القوانين بينهم. ناس تحب الكرم، يعني في من الناس اللي لأجل الكرم ذبح ما عنده إلا عنز وحدة أو شاة وحدة وهو محتاجها، ومع ذلك ذبحها على أساس فيه ضيف وجاي ضيف، وحياتهم دائما عايشين مع بعض.
If it's a real taste of Bedouin culture you want to experience, then January hosts a month-long Falcon Festival called Merme.
If you had to compare being a spectator at a football match and a spectator here, how similar are they?
مشجع كرة القدم هو نفس الشعور اللي أحس به أنا ولا أفضل أكثر من كرة القدم.
This is more exciting than football.
Yes.
Ali Al-Meshadi organises the festival and tells me that falconry is more than just a hobby here. It's a way of life, and it's recognised by UNESCO as living human heritage.
الحجارة في قطر هي يعني متأصلة عندنا في البلد، ومن هرم يعني من سمو الأمير الله يحفظه وسمو الأمير الوالد، وجميع الشعب القطري يحب هذه الهواء، يعني هذا التراث بالأصل هو تراث.
One of the most popular events at Merme sees the falconer and falcons getting in touch with their Bedouin past. Over a 2-kilometre distance, each falcon hunts a pigeon, replicating days gone by when falcons were used to help hunt for food in the desert. The festival is broadcast to a national TV audience and has impressive prizes ranging from brand new cars to huge amounts of prize money.
يعني هدد التحدي اللي يصيد الحمامة ياخذ 100,000 وينتقل مرحلة ثانية إلى سيارة لكسس أو 100,000 أخرى.
With so much at stake, Merme is a one-stop shop for all your falconry needs, from GPS trackers to remote control planes, used to teach your falcons their craft. And it's even a place to train the falconers themselves.
Oh, in my mouth?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So I put my
This
mouth
side.
here?
Yes.
Wow.
Close it. Yes. And same one by right hand. No, leave it. No, again, okay.
After the birds retire from competition, they're kept by their falconer or released into the wild to breed. But during their career, a top falcon can be worth up to 1 million Qatari rials, which works out roughly at £200,000.
Long one. Where is long one? There it is. Tight. More. خلاص. Okay. Done it? خلاص. Finished. Done it. I am a successful falcon handler. How do you know that the falcon is happy and healthy?
This one same as my son. This one same one from my family. I like this one. I give him everything. I take care about this falcon. When he's sick, I take him the يعني emergency hospital or something. Should be check this one. What has happened? Because when I take care about this falcon, same I take care by my children.
After arriving back in the city of Doha, it was as if I'd spent too long in the hot desert sun. I was greeted with what seemed to be a mirage. A herd of almost identical white Arabian horses running around in front of me.
I asked someone here how much each of these were worth, and his answer was priceless.
Established by the ruling royal family, this world-class equestrian centre, Al Shakab, is built on the site of a battle which took place in 1893 between the Bedouins and the Ottomans. The battle would eventually lead to Qatar's independence and was won thanks to the speed and bravery of the Arabian horse. The vision of this place is simple: to breed and train Arabian horses in their homeland to win a whole host of equestrian competitions across the globe.
These purebreds like Al Saka here are essentially treated like sporting superstars. Nothing but the best for them.
Across the water from the Cornish's towering skyscrapers is the Souk Waqif. Its mud-rendered buildings and labyrinthine streets act as a juxtaposition to the state-of-the-art construction projects happening around it. But this is the beating heart of Doha. Over the centuries, merchants would sail straight into this place where the sea lapped at its stone streets. Or they cross miles of desert to meet others and sell their wares. And that's the role it still plays today. And even the camels have stuck around. This place is as traditional as it gets in Qatar. In a conservative and somewhat male-dominated society, Chef Shams Al-Kasabi is a trailblazer.
وبعدين زوجي بعد خلصنا مرحلة في الإتقان، زوجي تقاعد، جيت الدوحة وعيالي كانوا صغار، قلت لازم بيكون لي هدف، لي وظيفة، وأنا ما متعلمة لازم يكون لي وظيفة. سمعت إن في السوق واقف في محلات حق سيدات يعني حق حريم، فقلت وين أروح مثلا أنا مع إن إحنا تجار سوق واقف لازم أشاور وين، ما كنت أعرف. لا سأورت أخوي يقول لي بالله مستحيل.
Shams is the Souk Waqif's first ever businesswoman, and she made her mark by opening a restaurant, Shai Al Shumus, selling authentic Qatari cuisine.
كان أول أيام 6 شهر شهرين ما كان عندي زباين نهائيا. أبدأ وأسوي وأخطط وأطلع أفكار وأوزع على الحمالية وللناس يجون يزورون أو يجون يشوفون، سواء كان من السعودية والإمارات كانوا يجون يسكنون في الفندق ينزلون شنو عندكم كله مجانا نوزع. شلون ارتب اموري انه كمطعم يعني. حتى زبايني بنات وشباب كانوا يشيلون مواعين يجيبون لي مطبخ، ما كان عندي الا انا ودريولي اللي كان يشيل المواعين وانا كنت اطبخ واعطيه يحط قدام الناس.
Oh, you can taste the lemon.
Spicy. Small.
Wow.
Slow.
Strong. It's got a tang. Oh, I like this.
إلا بقى.
Oh, maybe some more. I will have some more. Thank you. The taste is so distinctive.
Her food's pretty tasty, but don't just take my word for it. The walls of her restaurant are a who's who, not just of Qatari culture, but international supermodels.
Giselle?
Ah, Giselle, the supermodel.
Yes.
Yeah. Hollywood stars.
She's saying that this is my Qatari mother.
Wow.
And football legends.
David Beckham. This is number one.
Yeah.
Very good. He very nice, very good. Yeah.
Yeah, friend. Is he
Gentleman.
handsome? You think he's handsome?
Nice.
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 Yeah.
يقول أخلاق أقول أهم شيء.
His manners.
This is for أدب
Yeah.
وأخلاقه. This is for كياكرتا. Yeah, تشانية.
He's like, why are you asking about
Nice.
I'm very shallow. I'm like this. I just think about looks.
Yes.
الحين حاليا عندي 248 كرسي بدل 6 كراسي.
The World Cup stadia are a perfect example of where old meets new, from designs inspired by boats from Qatar's pearl fishing days to a whole stadium made to look like a giant traditional headdress. And the opening match of the competition will be played here at the 60,000-seater Al Bayt Stadium.
This is the perspective that players will have as they walk out onto the game for the first match of the tournament here at the Al Bayt Stadium. Perfect, pristine conditions.
It's inspired by the Bedouin tent. And like in the past, this is, usually people who's living in the desert, when they welcome their guests, you can see, they would host them, they would have like the bonfire and, welcome them. And for us, choosing it to be the opening of the World Cup, it has this symbolic because this is where the Arab usually would be welcoming their guests.
The stadium has almost everything a fan or player could hope for. Temperatures may be cooler when things kick off here in November, but in case it gets a bit too hot, there's air conditioning, not just in the stands, but on the pitch itself.
Meaning that the temperature on the pitch will be a very comfortable 19 to 21 degrees.
One of the first things the players will see when they arrive here is this mural. Look closely and you'll see it's made up of faces of workers who helped to build this stadium. Qatari nationals make up less than 15% of the country's population, so the economy relies heavily on workers from abroad. And one dark cloud hanging over the build-up to this event has been press reports about the deaths of migrant workers involved in the construction of the World Cup sites. And although the Qatari authorities strongly dispute the figures, they say that the World Cup has been a catalyst to push through reforms.
Looking at a young country, and even when you want to change policy and procedures, and even when you put the policy and procedures, the implementation of it, it's a journey. And you can see, there is progress happening when it comes to their accommodation, to their protection of their wages, as well as Now, I mean, like with the abolishing of the kafala law, people can actually change jobs, and we have introduced like a new minimum wage in the country. So has been a progress. Always actually take constructive criticism on board. There is more room to actually progress, but I mean, like I do believe this will be one of the biggest social legacies of the World Cup.
They're expecting over 1 million fans to attend this year's World Cup, but some people ask, will everybody be welcome?
For us, I mean, like everybody is welcome, and what we actually ask people is to respect our culture and our tradition. I mean, public display of an affection, whether it's heterosexual or homosexual, it's something people frown upon here in Qatar. So what we ask people kind of come and enjoy the game, and at the same time actually respect the local customs and tradition of the country.
Last year's Arab Cup proved that Qatar knew how to host a major sporting event. But what about the fans who like to cheer on their team with a drink in hand?
For us, I mean, alcohol is not part of our culture, but hospitality is. Alcohol is available to the unlicensed hotel, and during the tournament there will be a designated area where people who would want to actually consume alcohol can actually watch football match and have a drink.
Away from the news reports is a whole nation of people waiting in anticipation to see what'll happen when the biggest football tournament on earth arrives on Qatar shores later this year. And I, for one, want to know what it means to those who call this country home.
كأس العالم كل شعوب الأرض تنتظر اللحظة اللي الناس يبدأ فيها كأس العالم. فلذلك من ما يجعلني فخور جدا أن تكون دولتي هي محط أنظار العالم في 2022.
احنا رعية هالأرض، احنا نستقبل بكل ترحيبة ونحطهم على راسنا، حتى ممكن نستضيف فيهم في أي مكان. يا حياهم الله.
يقرب المسافات اللي بعيدة. إذا أنت كان حلمك تلعب كأس عالم بس أنت ولا مرة شفت كأس عالم ولا مرة حضرت كأس عالم في أرضية الملعب أو كجمهور أو في التلفزيون، ما راح تقدر تحس ان حلمك راح يكون قريب. بس يوم يكون كاس العالم في الدوحه او الشعب يحس بكاس العالم او عوده الجمهور لارضيه الملعب، لازم يشوفون هالشيء في الواقع.